Perfect.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to a special session with one of my favorite actresses, Divya Dutta. And we're going to talk not only about her work, but about a very special book she's written on me, Ma and me, right? I keep saying me and Ma.
Myanmar.
It's me
Myanmar.
and Ma.
It
Okay,
is Myanmar.
it is me and Ma.
You're
Okay.
right.
So,
Yes.
and not just the book, the physical copy, but also the audio book. Divya, it is such a moving tribute to your mother. And I don't know of a single person who would have read it or heard it and not felt like crying. It is, it is a tribute. It is gratitude. It is a love. It is everything that is the best about all of us. And I think as a daughter, there's not a single person who doesn't owe everything to her mother. And in your case, especially so, because she was really single-handedly responsible for who you were. And what lovely anecdotes, Divya. It's heartbreaking, though.
Thank you. It means a lot that you've read it or you've heard it. I don't know, but I'm glad. I'm really
Oh,
glad and to get your feedback.
it's lovely, Divya. And I think at a time like this, when everybody is coping with so much loss and so much grief, it is also something that people should read or hear. Don't you think?
I think these very critical times that we are in, where everyone is going through anxieties of either facing it outside or within. There
Right.
is some kind of a battle everyone is going through right now. What is really coming to our rescue is the bonds that we share,
Yeah.
and I think this is bringing us back to cherishing those bonds again. I mean, in our lives, especially when you have neutral families and nuclear families, where you're like running around and just making ends meet and deadlines, and life has become so fast. So even if our intents are good, we aren't really able to do as much or bond as much with our near and dear ones. And I think this time has I have not the main difference I saw between the previous lockdown and this one is there's so many more phone calls. There's so many people who want to connect, who want to hold on to you, who want to hear words, feel a sense of belonging, because there's so much anxiety. So I think, yes, these are the times where we need to strengthen those bonds, be it with your parents, be it with your children, be it with your siblings, friends, anybody, and even if random people. I guess this is the time to just slow down our paces.
Right. And you were talking very interestingly about the first lockdown last year and this lockdown. You said there's a vast difference. I've felt that and sensed that too. The last lockdown, I think we were not prepared in our senses. We didn't have enough empathy. I think the last lockdown really made us come to terms with reality, didn't it?
It did, but honestly and unfortunately, we didn't really learn much. I guess it's also what happens is there's a fatigue that comes by, a
Right.
mental fatigue more so, where you're like actually clinging back to normalcy even when there isn't any. I think we've all done it at some time where you the first thing that you want to do is just go and hug your friends and just go and just touch that normalcy. My thing was to just go to the beach nearby, just be there, lay your foot there. I mean, it's like a basic thing, but you're cherishing it now. But I think this is with us all human beings, that once normalcy always comes, even for a bit, we tend to forget what happened, and that's where we just let our guards down, and it's happened again. But this time, I think it is a lot more. Last year, you felt it's happening to someone you know. This time, it is in every family, much faster. And the kind of stories you hear is heartbreaking. So the least you can do is like make calls, talk to people, make them feel wanted. So yes, that is the difference for sure. This time there is that anxiety has kind of just is within everyone this time. Not one person that I know, even if you're smiling or something, there is a certain kind of an uncertainty that looms high.
Right. Divya, I was just wondering, your mother was a doctor and someone so full of joy in life. What would she have felt during these times? she would have wanted to go out and save as many people as possible, right?
She would be sitting in her clinic. She would be calling all the people, come and just take all this thing. And she would be scolding everyone for not wearing masks in her very motherly way. And also giving them a pat on their backs if they do it. So she kind of always balanced it out. If she scolded someone really bad, and that's something I actually learned from her, that if you're like trying to be very strict with somebody, you kind of also show them that you have that affectionate right on them to do
Yeah.
that, and so they don't feel low about it. So she had that beautiful charm of making them feel their own, and yet telling them what wasn't right about them. And I think she was just very affectionate. I've never seen a more affectionate person, because to date it's been 5.5 years of her going. I have never seen anybody who says we didn't feel your mother's warmth. घर आते थे तो it wasn't like आप कुछ लेंगे and then we go, right? She would actually insist that they sit, they eat, and then they do what they've come for. So and then her anecdotes would never finish. So even if it was a stranger she was talking to, you wouldn't for a second feel you're meeting her for the first time, because she would be so comfortable telling you all. She had that childlike trust in people, and I think I absolutely loved that about her.
And what stories about her? The most striking to me was the fact of those four terrorists that she hitched a ride with coming to her clinic later. I mean, what scary times you lived through, Divya.
We have. In fact, I remember, because she was a government servant and she had to do all those medical legals and all that stuff. And there was a curfew there. So I remember there were 7, 8 people who had just come home armed, and they were like, they just wanted a certificate from her. And I literally froze there. I just stood in front of her. I must be what, 12, 13 or something. I stood in front of her like, oh God, if they're going to say anything to her, it should be me first. And it was very dramatic. so,
I
but
can
she,
see where you got your love of acting from.
no, now on hindsight, it feels very dramatic. But that time it was like, okay, I need to save my mother from whoever it is. So but she dealt with them with what do you say, a certain dignity, that even they would first come and say sat sri akal ji, bhen ji, and then they would actually not uh, they would request her, and there was like, I would feel proud in many ways to see what kind of respect she actually commanded. And the way she dealt with various kind of people, some strike happening in some with some employees, she would go there without even thinking. I would see other doctors saying hum nahi jate, she would go and confront and make them their own. I was like, ye kab karai, ye kaise karai. So she would do that, and she had her way with people. And same, that incident that you're talking about, I would think 100 times before sitting with some strangers like that. But because she had to get to work, she said, "Acha, bhai sahab, drop me till there," and she went with them, and in pin drop silence. I mean, she had guts. She had. I don't even have an ounce of
Yeah. And
that.
so the times that you lived through, we forget all that, but there were moments when you must have felt, God, I'm so close to death, seeing death virtually around you. So, in a way, it prepared you for what's happening now, if you look at it
Oh,
in
it's
hindsight.
two different things, very different things.
Mm.
We are right now fighting an unknown enemy. You don't
Enemy.
know where it is.
Yeah,
Where can you just be very safe,
yeah,
home or outside? No, you don't know that. So that of course was a very, very scary time, and for a child. But I think I also had the security that mom's there, she is going to take care. But I do remember when we used to go lock our doors, it used to be like, hey Bhagwan, tonight should be like safe.
yeah.
That was of course a fear that we had, and I'm so glad it is over. And I could see the normalcy coming back in Punjab, and I was the happiest. But yes, this one is something which I don't think any of us have seen in our lifetimes. Every day there's a different theory coming forthcoming. Everyone has their own gyan. Everyone is trying to help each other. जो better work कर जाए, तो हम कर रहे हैं. Of course, thankfully there are vaccines now, but even then, I mean, it's still taking time to get there. So अभी ये वाला रास्ता तो लंबा है और मुश्किल है. But I'm sure we need to be a
But
lot more alert and yeah.
yeah, Divya, at times like this, art is our only solace, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the work that you've done, you've done such a variety: comedy, tragedy, drama, everything. When you look back at your career and such fine performances with people like Yash Chopra, it must be so fulfilling to recall some of that.
I'm writing my next book, which is about my film journey.
Oh,
And in fact, I've just finished and given it to my publishing house. And so it is when I recollect everything, little anecdotes, what
yeah.
happened. I feel very special, because for a child who I would never say I'm a fluke actor. I'm not.
Hmm.
I always wanted to be an actor. So I mean, I came from this family of doctors, and I was academically very inclined. Even so, always, ever since I was 4, I wanted to be an actor.
Hmm.
And when you finally become that, and when your parent also supports you
Yeah.
in the best way that she can, in spite of everyone being just opposing it, and then you look back at the journey where you have met all those favorites that you whose films you've grown on, who you've loved, who you want to be like, and you've actually worked with them, become friends with them. It is something that you cherish. And when I was writing, every moment, it was all gratitude that thank you, I'm living a life that I wanted to live. And I think I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely. I wanted to recall some of those people because Yash Chopra, I mean, I obviously didn't meet him as much as you did. You worked with him, but he was such a wonderful man, so full of real Punjabiyat, the real Punjabiyat.
Yes.
Talk a little about him and what was it like working in Veer-Zaara, which I think is one of your finest roles as well.
Thank you. Well, it feels nice when I call him Yash Uncle now because I have grown on his films. For me, romance is Yash Chopra movies. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
that's also the reason I still haven't found Mr. Perfect, because I think he only exists in his movies.
In Yash Chopra movies.
I need a Raj or I need a Rahul. I just need one of those because I don't think anyone else just even comes close to those beautiful nuances that he gave in between a couple,
Yeah.
beat anything, right from Kabhi Kabhi when I was like a little child. I have totally cherished those moments. I mean, I'll never forget that scene from Kabhi Kabhi, which is between Mr. Bachchan, Shashi ji,
Right.
and both of them are with Rakhi ji, and they are talking about her in their own ways.
Yeah.
There was so much tension and there was so much romance in it. It was like, my God, ye Yash ji kahan se itna wo lekar aate hain? These little nuances, that was magic.
Yeah.
And when I met him for the first time, it was my dream to be launched by in a Yash Chopra kind of a film.
Yeah.
In very unassuming ways, I actually was relaunched by him in Veer-Zaara,
Yeah.
in a very unconventional way, because to me, the introduction to the commercial cinema was Veer-Zaara.
Right.
So and everyone at that premiere said, "ये लड़की कौन है? वो लड़की कौन है जो वो पाकिस्तान से लेके आए हैं क्या? कहाँ से आई है वो?" So I was very overwhelmed with that. But I think I had a beautiful bond with Yash ji because yes, the Punjabiyat that you talk about, we were both dessert freaks, absolutely. I mean,
Oh,
lunch
yeah.
के
He
बाद दोनों को
loved
कुछ
food. Divya, he loved his
loved his
food,
food.
didn't
He
he?
loved his food,
Yeah.
and I was his perpetual partner for lunch. And this bond continued after Veer-Zaara too. I used to just go have a cup of chai with him, and I don't know how much I had to chat with him. मैं कितनी गप्पे मारती थी उनसे, and it felt like you're talking to somebody who's a family. And I shared everything with him, and the kind of advice I used to get from him, I still cherish.
Yeah.
And he never forgot birthdays, just like Mr. Bachchan.
Yeah.
He would always remember to wish you on your birthday. And it means so much for like somebody, a newcomer, to get a call from Yash Chopra, hey, beta, happy birthday. It feels so good.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think that generation of filmmakers and actors was quite different, Divya. You've seen the transition as well, and you've ridden that transition very well. But sometimes when you look back at that generation of filmmakers, do you think, God, where have they gone?
I have a very strange connection with all these makers and actors. I actually cling to them with affection.
Mhm.
Be it Mr. Bachchan, be it Rishi Ji, be it Vinod Khanna, be it and all these makers, Rishida, Yash Ji, everyone. I mean, we've grown on their films, not necessarily worked with them, but I remember having met Rishida once in my life when he had called me. He saw some film, I
Uh-huh.
think Train to Pakistan, and I was so
Wow.
new. And
Yeah.
he called me, and I thought somebody's pulling me up because I didn't have. So when he actually invited me home, it was like now somebody's genuinely pulling me up. But when I actually went and I saw him, and he held my hand, he said, had you come 20 years back, we would have done a lot of work. And
Wow.
for me, that is like a compliment I will cherish ever, I mean, all my life.
Yeah.
So, of course, those men were those people, those makers, those actors are different, of course, but not undermining the amazing generation of directors and makers and actors we have today. But of course, हर time में लोग अलग होते हैं.
Bilkul.
उनका उनका नजरिया अलग होता है.
Mm.
So maybe I latch on to that much more. These ones are peers for me, and I enjoy the company, but those I look up to. Yeah.
Absolutely. And look at the work that you're doing now as well. It's such a variety. You've done web series, you've done cinema, you've done Punjabi movies, Hindi movies, you've done so many languages as well. So, what is it that excites you now? I remember even with small roles like in Manto, you just uh, explore on screen. What a pleasure it is to see you now. So when roles come to you now, I don't know how many movies have you done, but when roles come to you now, what is it that excites you, Divya?
Kavi, I think it's very important that you have a child in you.
Yeah.
That's very important. When you think you've grown up enough and you've seen it all and you know it all, I think that's an end of journey, not just for me as an actor, but for anybody. That little curiosity, that nervousness, that excitement to take on something new and challenging. I bite my nails still on the first day of shoot.
Wow.
I'm nervous, much that people feel, Are, aapko kya zarorat hai?" I am nervous on the first day of shoot because I don't know that character still until I have played that role in a scene and you get the hang of it. I'm nervous. But yes, there's a lot more that one wants to do. I'm excited when I hear a good role. I jump. I literally jump. And this year was really nice. I did a web series before the lockdown happened. These 2 months, Jan, Feb, I shot continuously. And the roles I did, I used to my makeup, my entire team knows कि ये बच्ची है कि ये क्या है मतलब I used to jump when there was a good scene. I say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And the more difficult it was, the more interesting it became for me because it made my hands numb. I was nervous. I didn't know what I would do, and I think that excitement and that curiosity that I have also passes on to my audience. They
Hmm.
won't say, अच्छा दिव्या आ रही है तो वही तो करेगी, वही इधर से इधर देखेगी फिर वही वाली एक्टिंग करेगी. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want whenever I look into the mirror, I want to see a different me. And thankfully, I think it's that excitement, the child in me has kept it. And I'm very proud of the child in me. So,
Absolutely. And I think audiences, as you said, really relate to that excitement. Can you talk something about? Can you talk a bit about the work that you've been doing in the last couple of months?
so I have finished a comedy film which is with Umesh Shukla. A total fun film. तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है.
Oh,
Then there is a feature with Dibakar Banerjee. It is called Freedom,
freedom.
and
Yes, I've heard
a
so
delight,
much.
an apps.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Yes,
I've heard so much about it, Divya. It's about the Kashmiri Muslim and Pandit sort of conflict in Kashmir, isn't it?
I wish I was allowed to talk about it, but they have told me to be this about the film. But nevertheless, I'm super proud of it, and the experience I have had of then, of course, I did this amazing series that I worked on right now, something I've never done before. And I did this film called Dhakad, where I'm playing this badass woman. So
Oh,
I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's been great. And whoever saw that look in Dhakad was like, we never imagined you to be like this, because they think she's, a woman next door or somebody you take so
right.
seriously. And here comes somebody who's looking like a pataka and who's total badass. So it's exciting to keep if you find directors who find something different in you. I think that also matters a lot, that you must work with people who don't judge you by what you've done before,
Right.
but what they think you're capable of, and they know that acha hum isko, sometimes they say, "Arey, but Divya is such an obvious choice for this," but then I don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
would rather do something where I'm not an obvious choice.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's and I've been excited. Then I finished this book, and I have two international films coming up too, but unfortunately we are waiting because of the
Yeah.
times that we are in. So yeah,
What is the series that you worked on, Divya?
can't talk. They
Can't talk
sign
about
these
it. Uh,
yeah,
NDAs.
yes. The
But,
first
but
comes the
was
ND,
it
and then
exciting?
I'm sorry,
Was
very
it
exciting.
exciting? Yeah.
Brilliantly exciting, because this is a role I have never played. And what was exciting was that I didn't know where this role would go. And my director said, "Come, let's see ye jata kahan hai."
Acha.
And by the end of it, both of us were so surprised कि ये किधर गया, because it was so lovely. Every day something new would come up with that role,
Right.
and I am my the bestest compliment was when the last day of shoot, everyone just got up and they just did this, and I was like, somewhere, gratitude to someone up there, that people love you so much, and they admire what you do. I think admiration is way far more earned than fame, I guess, and it feels really nice.
Right. So I'm glad you're very very busy. It's such a wonderful thing to see that has streaming really changed the opportunities also available to actors like you.
It has changed. It has also, what has happened is, it's not just about numbers anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just about marketing anymore.
Right.
It's about putting everything on the same platform and leaving it to people to watch what they want to watch. You can have a huge commercial film coming. You can have something with total newcomers coming in. You can have something with actors like coming in, and there's an audience for each. So it's for them to choose what they want, and the kind of reach that it has is like surprisingly amazing, because like my latest was the short that I did, Zindagin short. I don't know if you've
Yes,
seen it.
I have. I have. Oh, what a wonderful film. We would
So
never
yes,
have seen it otherwise, no, if it wasn't for streaming.
exactly, because then it comes to some festivals and it'll have a limited screening somewhere, and a lot of audience would probably miss it. And now I'm flooded with messages that we saw that, and it
Yeah.
feels
Oh,
so. Yes, I think somewhere the world has become smaller with OTT. पहले होता था कि इस role के लिए तो you need this huge face or this star, but now suddenly the actors have also come in and become the stars, and
exactly.
they take the entire show on their shoulders, so which is very heartening, and so much new talent that you're seeing who have become like huge faces because of OTT. So
Yeah,
it's very refreshingly heartening.
right. So when you look back at your journey, are you happy at the trajectory it took rather than the obvious one, which was also available to you, of the lead, of the heroine? Yet your journey has been maybe a little more difficult, but maybe more rewarding, and it'll be a longer career than any other heroine could hope for.
That's true actually. What you just said, I was told on the premiere of Veer-Zaara
Yeah,
by Dharmesh Darshan. He said you will have a very long shelf life. I never forgot that. Because I don't have a fear of being branded in a way. In fact, on the contrary, people expect that when she's doing something, she'll do something different.
exactly. Yeah,
So so that gives me a chance and an opportunity to keep experimenting. And yes, it's been a very strange career graph, but I love it. And today, I mean, the so-called leads also come my way. Earlier also, I mean, I've done leads, but they were those typical dance and glamour.
yeah,
And somewhere I felt मुझे कुछ और करना है, और फिर कुछ और करने के लिए what is the trend now where any actor, female actor, is doing every kind of role.
right.
I think I started much earlier. I started with Veer-Zaara with that.
Yeah,
And that time they didn't have a name for it because there wasn't whatever. But now there is now, because I think now is a time for just actors. You can do any kind of role. And yes, it's been an enjoyable career. When I look back, I feel gratified, yes, but still there's loads of hunger.
of
Loads of
course.
hunger.
Why not? And Divya, it's so amazing when one looks back at the work you've done. You're so young. I don't know. You started when you were an infant or what?
Thank you. I love you, Kaveree. No, I started young, yes, but also I think I'm petite, so छोटू लगती हूँ वैसे भी.
It's
But
fine.
ऐसा नहीं कि infancy में आ गई थी. No.
But it is really, so you can sort of metamorphosize, transform yourself into anything. Do you feel that uh, that ability to sort of mutate, not like the virus, but in a good way? Change into someone else. Like in the card you said, something so different that people go, God, is that Divya? You know?
Yes, in fact, it's a high and it's like a tonic for me when people say that. Um, the kind of messages I got from commercial directors when they saw this poster, they said, Yaar, ye tu hai. So it felt somewhere very validated because I didn't get to work with these people when I had just come because I wasn't, the typical whatever.
Yeah.
And so yes, it is a validation of a beautiful kind that you have the chance and people believe in you that yes, you can play anything. And that also is a huge responsibility, but maza bahut aata hai, because I think that stage nervousness that you have is very important. You can't just go on stage and say, yes, I've arrived. Because the moment it shows on your face that you're so self-assured, there goes the magic. The magic is in that nervousness. The magic is in that excitement to explore something you've never done before. So when I'm exploring a new look, it's like, chalo ye bhi karte hain, chalo ye bhi karte hain. And I've had so many of my directors tell me, yaar tu humne ye socha tha, but tune ye diya. It feels so nice that together we could just take a role somewhere else. And I just feel I am a lucky actor. To one, do what I want to do, plus to do the kind of work I want to do. I am given that chance and I am expected to do that. And I think that's with very few actors, and I count myself in those. So yes, it's like a whole a party kind of a thing where you have every kind of food laid in front of you and you can eat it all.
How do you prepare for your roles, Divya? Is it the look first? Is it the accent, the diction? Do you take notes when you read the script? How do you prepare for it?
For me, it's very, I don't really plan things. Anything that comes naturally. I remember one film I really did a lot of discussions was the film I got the national award for was Irada,
Yeah.
because whenever the director used to narrate the story to me, and there were such interesting scenes, but I said, listen, but who is she?
Hmm.
I don't connect with her. Let's find her who she is. I need to know what is going on in her mind. And then my director came up with such amazing stuff
Hmm.
that that role became something else.
Hmm.
And one could relate to whatever she did. You knew what conflict she's going within, what are her vulnerabilities. So yeah, these things happen when you discuss with the director, and it all comes naturally. Like for Dhakad also, we discussed the look, we started with something and we ended up doing something totally different. And same with this web series that I did. It's a journey, I think. So
Hmm.
somewhere an accent comes first, somewhere a look comes first.
Hmm.
Sometimes I think for me the best ideas come in the morning. When I wake up, I'm like, ye karungi subah mein, ye leke jaungi aisa. So even if I have those lengthy dialogues for something, I don't do them in the night. I wake up early morning, because
And
वो कभी ना कहीं डैडी ने सिखाया था, जो सुबह याद रखते हो कभी नहीं भूलते हो. So I was like, सुबह उठ के करूंगी.
right.
So
And it comes to you. You remember long pages of dialogue as well.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can. I will forget
that's a
names,
gift.
I'll forget numbers, but dialogues yaad rakhti hu.
No, that's a real gift, isn't it? That's what makes you a great actor.
It's also selective memory, I guess, because there's so much there and you really love doing this, and people are looking after you, so wo encouragement milti hai that hey, you better do it well.
So,
So
where did you discover the writer in you? Was it purely the need for catharsis when you wrote Me and Ma, or was it obviously somewhere the writer was just waiting to come out?
I used to write newspaper columns earlier.
Yeah.
When I had come earlier for Hindustan Times, then for Tribune, and then for other newspapers, they all started coming, and I was a regular with that.
Mm,
I used to write anything that would touch me in my day to day life every week. And then suddenly those columns became very popular.
mm,
And I remember once I had gone for a play with Omji to Chandigarh, and this old lady just came and hugged me after the show happened, and I thought she's obviously come to congratulate me for the performance. And then she said, performance to beta achhi thi, maine aapko thank you bolna hai, aapka column aaya tha ek. I said, hanji. She said, you've written, be your own best friend, and if need be, just travel yourself, and just don't wait for life to happen to you, you just happen to life. I had written some write up. She said, beta, and she was, what do you say, a conservative lady who'd never probably stepped out. And so she said, बेटा पहली बार मैं अकेली छुट्टी पे गई क्योंकि हस्बैंड बिजी थे, तो
wow.
मैं तेरा राइट अप पढ़ा और चली गई, बट दैट वाज द बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ माय लाइफ, सो थैंक यू सो मच.
Um,
So I loved the way people connected with, of course, as an actor, yes, there's a visual medium, but also as a writer, when they read what you've written and they can relate to it, I think it's a beautiful bond.
mm,
And तो ये रिश्ता था तब से. And then my biggest fear was my mother going away, and
yeah.
I would never know how to deal with it. But when I saw her lying there, I said, listen, am I going to really like just let her go like that, or do I celebrate it? And so I just out of the blue called up the publishing house. I said, listen, I want to write this book, and I don't know where this title came from. I just said, I want to call it Me and Ma. And they said, yeah, we give you 6 months, do it. I was so numb with grief for the first 5 months. I couldn't just lift my pen. I couldn't. And 1 month was left, and I said, do you really want to celebrate her? You want to keep just grieving and not do what you want to do? In that 1 month, I didn't stop writing.
Mm,
Wherever I was, shooting, chutti pe gayi, kahin bhi gayi, I used to just, I was flowing, I was writing, and memories just trickled in, and either I would smile or those 2 chapters, I think I just shut myself
yeah.
and I couldn't write. I was howling and howling. And I think for that, it was a catharsis,
Yeah.
because I probably wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't penned them down.
Mm,
And uh, And also I think this book gave me a connect where everyone said, thank you for writing this. The first thing I did was call my mom, or the first
Yeah.
thing I did was call my dad.
Absolutely.
And so I just felt this need to just, I thought it shouldn't be a one-off that you wrote.
Mm.
So even my publishing house said, okay, what's next for you? So now, yes, I'm ready with the next one. And lot of stories to tell. जिंदगी बहुत बड़ी है, उसमें से कुछ ना कुछ magical moments निकलते हैं.
Cool. And I hope you'll also get to write a movie or a series. Are you thinking along those lines?
A few of my directors are literally pushing me to do that, but I'm not doing it. I'm enjoying right now. I'm not doing it. One should never say no, but I'm enjoying being an actor, and I want my concentration and everything right here as of now.
Right.
But later, I don't know. Whoever, whatever life has in store for you.
Divya, I have to end by asking you the secret of your voice. I mean, what is it? That quality of voice, what do you do? To keep that timbre, to keep that, it's so distinctive. I mean, you can hear it
Thank you.
anywhere and you know it's Divya Dutta.
Thank you so much. I have nothing to do with it. I can only be thankful to someone up there to give me a voice like that. But yeah, I guess yes, I'm known for the voice because I remember I'd gone shopping one day and I'd covered myself totally. I remember I was in Janpath and I was dying to bargain. I was like, Janpath आके अगर bargaining नहीं की तो
Then
क्या
you
होगा?
haven't lived. I know.
Exactly. So I was covered and I said, ये मुझे इतने में चाहिए. He saying, आपको क्या जरूरत है bargaining कर रहे हो? I said, क्यों? He saying, छुप लो, आपकी आवाज से तो पहचान लिया.
Oh, wow. What a great story.
So I was like, I mean, I felt so embarrassed and I paid him $100 extra and ran from there. So yeah.
So this is such a lovely story. But really, your voice in a way precedes you. Uh,
It does. It
yeah.
does.
And
Yes.
I wonder, just to end, just that one thing, what would your mother have said to you now, especially when she sees you now, writing your second book, doing so much work? She would have been very, very, very proud of you, even prouder than before, I think.
I think she just made all the arrangements up there and just gave me what I was lacking. And वहां पे भी जाके दोस्ती कर ली कहीं पर. So I she always told me something on a serious note. She told me accept life. I always used to run away. I always used to have this escape mechanism कि
Right.
नहीं हुआ ही नहीं, denial में चले गए और फिर face करने में मुश्किल होती थी. So she always used to say accept life and face it head on because और कोई choice है नहीं. तो अभी भी when we accept life, things become much easier. If you see anything that is happening to us, half our turmoil is because we are not accepting that this is happening to us.
Yeah.
Once you accept it, you look for solutions, and then some kind of strength just trickles in. And so yes, I learned that from her, that accept it and be a brave one and just go with like full that's so and just face the world.
Thank you so much, Divya Datta, for not just your acting, but also your writing and for making us feel that connect with our families and with our mothers. I mean, we would not be here without them, but we need to celebrate them as well, and we should remember that.
Thank you so much. Means a lot to me,
Thank
Kaveree.
you very much.
You take care. Have a good day. Bye.